Good afternoon for those in the US. Good afternoon to those in some part of the world. Good afternoon and good afternoon. Also, good evening to folks in Liberia, in Radio Land. Of course, this is your program Focus on Liberia. In this edition, we got our on point crew. These are the political species who always diving into political issues. So if you are in Liberia, this is where you want to be to listen to them as they bring their passion, their expertise, their knowledge and understandings of the issues to discuss a country they dearly love. Well, I will turn things over to my man, Prince Bomba, to our partner there at Prime FM 105.1. Prince, how you doing? How folks in Radio Land doing?
He's muted.
Here in Monrovia, Liberia, of course, I'm sure Liberians are glued to their radio so that they can listen to the opinions and discussion on our discussions here on Prime FM from the US of A. Of course, as a matter of fact, Focus on Liberia now is the most talked about show in the town. So we hope to always not disappoint the expectation of our listeners. So I'm great. And it is hoped that the show going to be again more entertaining with my man Jerome on the platform tonight. So it's great.
Thank you so much. That was the voice of Prince Mumba, our control there at Prime FN 105.5. And I'm Ansony here, hosting on behalf of our crew here, joining you from the US. Folks, what do we have for discussion today? Number one, we will talk about the Lofa County by-election that is heated as we speak. And talking about that election, folks, the Congress for Democratic Change, has endorsed a candidate, an independent candidate for that matter. And we're talking about Vice President Joseph Boakai, who has issued what others call a warning, and some people are saying it's a threat, according to Boakai. If there will be no United Party ticket on the ballot, then there will be no by-election in Lofa County. And Mr. Boakai is one of the favorite sons of that county, Lofa County. Also, we are asking this question: where is President George Manneh Weah? Is he in charge or not? If it is in charge, why is it that we are getting all these news, negative news for that matter, and he's not taking action? Is he taking a nap somewhere? Also, we know about 4 men who are running for now. That's Boakai, that's Cummings, that's Tiawan, and Mr. Weah. Who will the voters pick, given what we know? Folks, to discuss all of these political topics, we have Mr. Jimmy Eastman seated. We have Mr. George Cannon today, and we also have Mr. Michael Padmore. Not forgetting Mr. Jerome Gayman, who wears the CDC hat, and Tulay is also from the Liberty Party. Mr. Padmore is also from the ANC, that's the Alternative National Congress. I don't know about Jimmy. I think he's a free agent politically, just like me.
I'm a healthy patriot.
Healthy patriot. He said, so Jimmy, let's start with you. Welcome. How you doing? How's family? Quickly.
Hey, good. Again, I'm looking forward to a good discussion as we discuss matters of our national interest. With the things going on, where there's some pertinent things that we need to talk about. I hope we can provide Liberian people some direction and some analysis that can help them make a decision down the road.
Thank you. Jerome Gayman is seated. He wears the CDC badge. Welcome, Mr. Propo, who drinks from a Sacomore cup with some kind of juice in it. How you doing? How's Florida?
I am in Florida, South Florida, the particular home of George Manneh Weah and Clyde Weah, the king of soccer, the best, Africa's best, Liberia's best, Euro's best, Cameroon's best, world best, and the best president of Liberia since 1822. And
Thank you.
I'm here to protect the pro-po agenda for prosperity.
Well, I hope that propo is alive because I'm hearing something else. Seated also and ready is Mr. Michael Padmore from the ANC. He shares the same state of Minnesota with me. This place is cool, but he knows best. How you doing, sir?
I am doing well, Ansony. How are you this evening? Hello to my panelists. Hello to Liberians and other nationals watching us and listening. I look forward to a very, very heated discussion. And hopefully when we leave here, we would have moved the needle a little bit forward.
Thank you. With us also is from On Point, Mr. George Tulay, a dear friend. Where he lives is even cooler at times than where I live in Minnesota. He's in Canada. How you doing, Mr. Tulay? Welcome.
Yeah, it's nice being here, Anthony. Look forward to a very, juicy, fruitful, and informative discussion.
Thank you, gentlemen. Let's get to it. Liberians are anxious and listening. They want to hear from us. Lofa County by-election is May the 10th. As we speak, Unity Party does not have a candidate shortlisted to be placed on a ballot. Mr. Boakai, listening to that, said, no, it's not going to happen. If there is no Unity Party candidate, there will be no by-election. Does he have a point? Is there a threat to a constitutional mandate that he's trying to somehow stop? Let me start with you, Mr. Gayman. You seem not to have so much love for Mr. Boakai. What do you make of this?
Well, thank you very much for the honor and the privilege to serve with these distinguished gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
As far as Joseph Boakai is concerned, I consider him my ancestor. My ancestor means somebody who is in our rear view mirror. From 1973, he been on the scene, and as we can see, everybody on this particular panel were either in diapers, some were just walking, and this man have been serving government for the past 54 years.
I don't want to believe that. I don't want to believe that. I'm not sure you are even 15 years apart from Mr. Boakai. So how dare you say that, Mr. Gayman?
Well, he's my ancestor. He goes all the way back to, I think he was born like maybe 1913, whatever that is. But he is in our rear view mirror politically. In this country, professionally, when you turn 65, you have to voluntarily reason. You have to retire. That means
you voted for Joe Biden. He's far above 65, and you want to tell me about Boakai? How is that fair, Mr. Gayman?
I am a Republican. But
you voted for Trump.
That's correct.
So you voted for Trump, who was about 72 years. It's
74.
I am a Republican. The American people came together and said he was too old. They got rid of him. So the Liberian people are coming together now to get rid of the octogenarian. Like I said, our ancestor, he is not healthy. As you can see when he's reading, he's very feeble. He reads and he doesn't even take questions.
Let's get to the issue. Leave Mr. Joe Boakai alone. He said, no Unity Party candidate, no by-election. That is what I want you to address. Does he have a point?
The fact is that anybody, a reasonable person in their right mind, will have never said that. This is why we are saying, I don't want to say that I'm anti-old folks, but this man have passed his shelf life politically. When you
go to the issue, we don't try on any personalities here. The issue
is
Mr. Boakai is saying, if no Unity Party candidate, there will be no by-election. Does he have a point?
Yes, he doesn't have a point, because if he was sound-minded, he wouldn't have said that. That's why when you go to the store, when you buy a product, on the back of it, it has an expiration date. That means that would be the best it can be. In the United States, we are saying the old man. What
wrong has he done by saying this?
Why he has
yes.
Politically is Hebrews. This is blasphemy in politics. You cannot threaten our peace, our democracy. For the man who says he's from the county, I thought he was said, my people will turn out in mass and we will defeat any candidate from the CDC, let's say by 80 or 90%, but instead he said he will bring forth the Lofa Defense Force. That is terrible.
In front of it, Mr. Gayman, let's go a little faster here. The other panelists are waiting. Your party, the CDC, does not have the balls enough to feed a candidate. It's just chasing after an independent candidate. And you want to talk about Joe Boakai here?
That's what we call political tacticians. These guys are tacticians. We are tactical in our nuclear weapon. We got a WMD, we got the weapon of mass destruction in King George, and we tactically choose our spots. And this is where we are at this point.
Thank you. Mr. Tulay, you heard your partner there. Instead of diving into the issue, is going after Ambassador Joseph Boakai. I give you the opportunity to get to that. And then you address the issue of whether or not it is a right thing to deny the Unity Party and whether Boakai has a point here.
No, Boakai has a point. I said it myself, and I know when I said it, I saw Jimmy cringe last Sunday because Jimmy is politically correct. I'm not politically correct. I'm a realist, and I was not surprised when the ambassador, His Excellency Joseph Boakai, said the same thing. The reality here is this: we were defrauded of one through all kinds of shrewd political machinations. We're defrauded of one representative that the people wholly supported. And what we know, what was when he was asked to join the CDC,
right?
And he said he wasn't going to join the CDC, so he was taken to court again, and then they used the judicial process to hold him accountable. The fact is, was he supposed to be in the race in the first place? No, but the fact that they allow him on the ballot and everything, they should allow him to sit.
So you said they did. So you are saying they did it legally, and that did not violate his constitutional right, isn't it?
Oh no, they violated his constitutional right. The fact is, they should have stopped him from. They should have allowed that first case to go through and hold him accountable. That's the point. But the fact is, the president said, "I paid a piece on the money," and the president came out and said, and basically absorbed the man of blame.
So you think they use him or they play him as a political football?
Yes. You know, they'll hold it above you. They'll wait for the time to use it against you. That was the situation.
What is the danger in that?
Galaba Kotiman enjoys the overwhelming support of the people of Lofa County because he was a very good superintendent. So as a result, even Brownie is campaigning for Galaba Kotiman.
Okay.
And now you see the CDC, they are a hopeless case in the sense that they can't even pick their own candidate. They want somebody who is an independent to support because
Mr. Gayman said they are trying to be tactical.
No, they lack the credibility. That this coward dies. Put up your own candidate. You are the ruling party. What stops you? You should be able to field a candidate in every race in the country. What stops you? Because
maybe that candidate has guaranteed them that
they do not have the credibility. Sir, they do not have the credibility because of their incompetence and their ineptitude. The way they have run the country without vision, without plan, without any kind of design. They're just like a fire brigade. When someone called to come and cut a fire, they don't have any plans.
Right.
So definitely they are afraid. They cannot run on their merit. You see, they're supposed to be able to field a candidate to run on their own merit. What we have done for you people in Liberia, this is our candidate, and we give him the support. No, they're finding somebody who is even afraid to even identify with the CDC emblem and name. So they say, okay, we support him. And guess what? They just sealed that man's fate in Lofa County. Because even if the people were amendable to him in any way, because of the machinations of the CDC and what they did to Brandon Samuka, they just see his political fate in the country.
So Tulay, you are telling me CDC is putting his face on this man's face. Yeah. So his people in Lofa will say, whoa. Maybe we're trying to vote for you, but we're not going to vote for you because you're wearing the CDC cap.
Yes.
At the end of the day, he represents the people, not CDC. So why were your own people treating like that?
Because of that particular party that he's aligned with now. That party that CDC is becoming a national anathema. It's becoming a cursed party. they attach their name to you, you lose an election.
We are
Because
hearing that
they
the
are-
CDC is carrying out some projects in Lofa County, and don't you think those are things that people will look at and say, well, we're going with the CDC instead?
What project, sir?
Well,
The
we're
road-
hearing a lot of things. Go ahead.
No, the road hasn't even crossed. The road hasn't even crossed, and the road hasn't gone anywhere. It hasn't even reached to the Simpo yet.
Well, at least they are attempting, and they can say, well, Mr.
The project
Boakai
was,
and Ellen
the
Justice
project was
did not do it
initiated
for
by
us.
Madam Salif, sir.
Go ahead.
Madam Salif project there.
Okay. And
So,
Madam Salif did not
finally,
did
to
not
answer
end
your
the project.
question, Joseph Boakai was within his mindset. He was right for saying and asserting, because CDC did the same thing. Oh, don't forget. Oh, CDC threatened Madam Salif government all through her reign. The 12 years she was in power, they were always threatening the government. Feel our candidate or else what? So we're saying the same thing today.
So
Now they say,
finally, don't you think the statement by Mr. Boakai is not an obstruction of a constitutional mandate that calls for a by-election 90 days after a vacancy is declared open? Don't you think that's why he's doing it?
I won't say that.
Why? He said no United Party candidate, no by-election. That might be like a threat to the peace.
The fact is, the government has no real neck. Neck has become a partisan or body. Instead of being an integrity institution that oversees our electoral processes, they've become a partisan group, and we have seen it. And they were even called to order by the justice in chamber. So we've seen what they can do, and we also have seen that these people, the only message, the only thing they know is fire.
Thank you.
Reality. And the reality here is nobody is going to go hold any election in Lofa County except the Unity Party, except a candidate that is supported by Joseph Boakai is on that ballot. You can't come to my county and then you say I can't run in my county. It's not possible.
Thank you. That was the voice of the tough talking George Tulay, member of the opposition Liberty Party, and he is supporting Mr. Joseph Boakai, a son of Lofa County. Also here is our man Jimmy Eastman joining us from the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. He said he is, what was that again? Patriotic agent of the country?
That's right. I believe in Liberia first.
To you, Mr. Patriotic agent. You know what we're discussing? People talking, some people are saying Mr. Boakai is entering a dangerous territory here. He has been this man of peace. That has been on his political resume. He's taking that off. It seems to be the gloves are off here where he succeed. He didn't succeed with Samukai, despite the country that was being brought aside. Your take?
As a patriot, I'm concerned about the Lofa people.
Okay.
People of Lofa County. We don't want them to be denied their rights. We don't want them to be disenfranchised in any way. Okay. We believe the people from Lofa, they were the bread basket. They were the arm in Liberia that helped bring Liberia to almost self-sufficiency at one time. And we do not see them where they haven't taken their rightful place for a long time. And we want to see Lofa and Lofans take their rightful place. But what we see unfolding here is a precedent. Okay. First of all, the last senator could not take a seat because of his own doing. Today, the UP, which has always been supported by many in Lofa County from the days of Casse. Lofa County has been very entwined into UP, and we can understand how much they want this party to participate. But this party had gotten entangled in some agreement, and this agreement is what's stopping them from participating. The larger picture here, if they can't participate in this by-election, it might affect their participation down the road. So what we would like to see, that this whole entanglement is resolved to allow UP to go ahead and field a candidate. All this thing, they have this coalition that has brought ANC to court that has barred UP from participating. We want to see it all sorted out. So let them participate free and fair elections. And we're looking for the administration to resolve this problem. When it's
Jimmy, looking at our history, our election history to be specific, is the CDC government treading on the dangerous path here? Because what this is actually to deny one of the largest political parties in the country of participation, and by default, the people of Lofa County to elect somebody they will really want to see representing them. Is there a dangerous path? What might be the possible consequences here?
I don't think it's dangerous, but the whole thing, do not blame the CDC government in this case. Mm-hmm. They got into this pact themselves. What we want to see that the administration solve their problem for them. It's like your children get in trouble and you have to solve their problem. We want to see them out of all this entanglement. Let them be able to represent themselves. But
so in essence, you can't blame the CDC government or the CPP people should have themselves blamed here, and they are trying to be children here.
Exactly, they are the ones to blame themselves. But yet, we want to see the administration solve their problem. Let them be free to participate, and maybe this will serve as a lesson next time. That before you go into a coalition, before you sign in a document, you must make sure that you read it over, and that's what we're looking to see. I don't think it's going to end up any differently, but except that everybody go their separate ways.
Mr. Michael Padmore is also from our on-point crew from the ANC. I see that he's relaxed, he's smiling, he's comfortable, he's enjoying the discussion. Hey, it is your party that is using this embattled framework document to nail the Unity Party in the coffin to not participate. What right got you to deny somebody of their constitutional right, Mr. Padmore?
So there's a couple of things we need to know here. The first thing is that is not what the ANC is seeking.
Okay.
All the ANC is seeking is that when you agree to something, that you hold up to your part of the bargain. That's a basic principle of engagement. If you cannot do it now, then what hope do you have of doing it in the future? There was a time when the ALP, followed by the Unity Party, decided they were going to walk away from the CPP. While in the midst of doing that, they filed a criminal complaint that got the ANC entangled into court. Many people, including yourself, raised the question, if you are leaving, why are you still digging into this? Why are you trying to get Alexander Cummings entangled into court so that he doesn't have the freedom and the ability to go out there and make his name?
Is that why you're paying back?
Huh?
Is that why you're fighting back legally also?
It is one of those. It's one of those, yes. So when people made fun of it, people didn't take it serious.
And you think that is fair game, right?
That is fair game.
Okay.
It's absolutely fair game.
Okay.
Yes, it is. So now when we are all entangled, then sometimes your insight changes. When you're in a different position, you tend to see things a little clearer. And I think the Unity Party are beginning to see things a little clearer.
So you think that's going to solve your problem? How does that help your cause to promote your guy here? How does that help it?
Here's the thing here. Look.
Okay.
Nobody can constitutionally hold Unity Party in any arrangement.
Okay.
If you choose to leave, okay, there are stipulations in that ride with you. If you want those things changed, come back to the table.
Right.
And say, look, obviously this is holding me back. You have issues. I have issues. Let's sit down like gentlemen and see how best we can clear this thing out and everybody go their separate ways. And why Unity Party is refusing to do that, I don't understand. I have no idea.
Thank you. Let me come to my man, Prince Mumba. Prince, you are on the ground. You are a journalist listening to Liberians and listening to other media platforms. This whole thing about Lofa feeding Unity Party feeding a candidate or not, how are Liberians reacting to this information?
Thank you. Sorry. And Anthony, there are divided views
Okay.
as it relates to what's unfolding with the United Party, Bishop Boakai in particular from Lofa County, and the supporters. So there are divided views, to be frank. And so many feel that it is a violation of the right of the political party, and also the violation. And also something that violates the right of Lofians, citizens of Lofa County. And also the media has tried to go into Lofa and speak with citizens there. Many of them have called on local talk shows in Monrovia. Many of them have called individual journalists to have interviews with them. And so what I can see from what we have gathered or what we have heard, I think government needs to handle this issue with care. Because like the first speaker said, this is a precedent case. The second speaker, it will be a precedent case if the NEC rules that it has done already, and then the Supreme Court upheld that ruling to deny the United Party and its candidate. Then there's going to be a precedent case in future elections to come.
The presidential election for that matter.
Yeah. Why it does to the country. The second thing is Lofa is a traditional county. The Lofians feel that Boakai is their godfather, their father. And of course, Lofa is so much traditional that with all the noise you hear of different political parties, support-based group, but they still have that traditional name. They always call Boakai Uncle, the Lomas, the Casse, the Banti, and the Mandingo. There's a special traditional with the in the each other.
So Prince, before you continue here, Prince, this is Mr. Boakai, and you just lay out, very succinctly his connection, the traditional ties, right there, and how the people of Lofa are connected, irrespective of tribe, connected to Mr. Boakai, given the representation he's had in government, for his county, and he is saying if no candidate for the Unity Party, there will be no by-election. Is this something you think the people of Lofa can add on? Should the decision hold that Unity Party will not have a candidate? Should we expect some violence, disruption of the electoral process in that county?
Yeah, they were I was coming.
Okay.
I remember that. So, like I was saying, you put a question. So, Lofians are supporting the statement that the last time OKFM went and stopped, to Zozo rather, and have views sounding. Lofians are supporting the statement of Honorable Boakai that if there's no Unity Party in the election, there's going to be no election. He's supporting that.
Thank you.
So, Ansony, my fear is, Ansony, what happens to Prince Mobile, for example? You send him to go and monitor the elections. And then Prince Mobile has gone to one of those villages where there's a precinct. And then there's a traditional devil outside and begin to, do what is not called for. What is the security of Prince are you sending there? The election workers. They are remote villages, and some of them will go no network connection. So those are my personal fear, because I know, you follow the issue in Bapolo, the Potokane. Those things are possible. So I think we should find other remedy as the case is then processed at the court. Those are my opinion.
Thank you, Mr. Tulay. Let me get back to you so we can conclude on this particular topic. You are a son of that county, if I'm not mistaken. You just listening to Prince. The people of Lofa this time can act, isn't it? Because they will be the second time. You are muted, sir.
Yeah. And this is serious, all right? But the matter has gone before. The matter is going to go before the Supreme Court for decision. And the Supreme Court, I'm very sure they are very wise. They have those people, they are tasked with keeping peace in the country. So they're not just ruling from the hip, they're ruling from their heads, and they're looking at precedents. They're looking at when we pass a ruling, despite dissension or whatever, that ruling creates a precedent. And this we haven't had a case like this in Liberia before. From my correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the first time I'm seeing such a case. But the issue here is this: we are united behind the leadership of just like human Boakai. I'm talking about Lofians in every county. I'm not saying some Lofians are now with ANC, some Lofians are now with any other political party, CDC or whatever else. That's not what we're saying. But we're saying the majority of our people and the elders in our land. And like Prince said, this thing is not something to trifle with, because our people have been very grieved. The first time they were defrauded of somebody that they overwhelmingly supported and voted for, and that was stripped from beneath them. So this time around, they are supporting another candidate, and then ANC that basically has no set constituency in Liberia, no legitimacy to even seek the election, something because of their alliances with Madam Salif and George Weah and Musa Belete. ANC have decided now to come and defraud us. They're claiming a document that is before the courts. The very authenticity of that document is under contestation, and they are claiming they went because Musa Belete took Deviata Brown, Lasana, he's too born and whatever. So there are a lot of corruption, a lot of evil machinations going on to defraud us. Trust me, no matter what they do, only the ruling of the Supreme Court will be adhered to. Anything short of that, nobody should go to Lofa County to go run campaign. We will not take it. It's just the reality.
And Tulay, quickly, I know you don't like hypotheticals, right? So why if it goes contrary to your hope or to the hope of the people of Lofa, if the Supreme Court is to uphold the decision of NEC, so Lofa County will abide by the decision of the court then?
The people will just boycott the elections. That's all they will do. But we cannot come and say when the Supreme Court ruling, all the judges, all the justices will give their opinion in their ruling. Okay? If they rule, and like I said, it's a matter of precedent. The reason why we're saying this is the Constitution, the very Constitution gives us the right to associate and disassociate. It's the Constitution that gave us that right. Okay. And this is not a thing of business. This is electoral matters. It's different from any kind of contract enter into. This is election. This is a fundamental right issue. So if the Supreme Court decides that this fundamental right should be stripped from us, then they set a precedent. And we cannot, going forward now, we have to tread on very, 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 very clear grounds.
Thank you.
The only thing we can say,
Anthony, allow me to come in quickly, because please. Mr. Tulay is saying something. Even though I said here, we see that the Supreme Court, they will resolve this issue. They will allow the UP to go ahead. But it's the narrative. We as luminaries, we that talk to the people to tell them, give them analysis that will help them make a better decisions. We have to control the narrative. Mr. Tulay just said they were defrauded in the case of Mr. Samukai, I guess he was alluding to. How did they defraud the Lofa people? That is not the kind of narrative you should give, because that is inflammatory. Be honest. He was involved in a case, and it's the case that stopped him from taking his seat. It's not fraud.
Can I respond?
Please.
Thank you, Mr. Eastman, and thank you, Tulay. Let me come to Mr. Padmore here. Okay. Mr. Padmore, look, we all should be in obedience of the law.
Yes.
Under no circumstance. But at the same time, we should be mindful. We know our country's history concerning people feeling disenfranchised and denied when it comes to electoral politics. It led us to war. It contributed to the war. Why can you, from your end, CPP, do right now, because May 10th is just what, less than 2 weeks away. We don't know when this matter will reach the Supreme Court before the Supreme Court can put a halt to it. We may not have time, and the people of Lofa will be denied. We must see violence on our hands. That's the last thing we want. What can the ANC people do at this time?
So let me touch 3 points.
Yeah.
The first thing is that is why the door is still open to the Unity Party.
Mm-hmm.
The Unity Party can still return to the table, and we can still sit down like intelligent beings and harmonize the whole situation, and everybody walk away. Why is that not an option for the Unity Party? And nobody is asking Ambassador Boakai this. Why the threats? We talk about precedents, right? Mm-hmm. And I see that we're only looking at precedents from the judicial point of view, from the Supreme Court. But there's another precedent that is being set here. Okay? Mm-hmm. If Unity Party is allowed to bully the court, to issue threats, you heard Mr. Tulay say the justices will not only rule by the law, but they'll also take into account our peace. When a justice starts to take into account other variables instead of just the law, then you have muddied the waters.
I didn't see that.
You are throwing away our constitution. You cannot threaten the peace and then hope that the justices, in the name of peace, will let you have your way. What if CDC had done that when CDC was disenfranchised in 2005, when they were disenfranchised in 2011, and they killed that boy in front of the headquarters? What if CDC had said the same thing? I mean, like, come on, people. And this was the ruling party. Unity Party was the ruling party.
Mr.
And we
Padmore,
behind Madam Salif. Peace is the most objective thing that we need to keep. And Ambassador Boakai needs to lead because he is playing with fire. And that fire has shown that it don't burn one person.
Mr. Padmore, you are talking about, Unity Party should come back to the table. I mean, aren't the bridges burned completely to ashes already? And bad blood created already?
Absolutely.
It will require some kind of human beings to do this thing. Do you see that, Mr. Boakai? You might be asking for something that he probably is not willing to do, isn't it?
Mr. Boakai has been presented to the Liberian people as the man of wisdom, a man of humility, a man of peace.
Right.
If there's anybody that can do this, it is Ambassador Boakai. When Ambassador Boakai came to the U.S., he made a promise.
Right.
I will go back to Liberia and I will solve the problems of the CPP. We all clung to that promise. Today, where is that promise? We still believe in Ambassador Boakai, that he can come to the table, he can bring ALP to the table, he can bring Unity Party to the table, and we can harmonize this thing. We all believe that. Okay, but it's going to take Ambassador Boakai to step up to the plate and stop issuing threats and make this thing happen. He is the elder statesman in the room, and he's tearing and making flour. Naturally, our natural indignation is that we'll turn to the older people in the room and say, please solve the problem for your children. Not to start issuing threats. You can't be like the child in the room and you the older person in the room. You have to be the one to say, my children, everybody keep quiet. Let me talk and harmonize it. Bring peace among your children and let everybody move forward. We really hope that he can come to this.
Thank you. And Mr. Gayman, I'm coming to you.
Okay.
I see that you are looking like the big boy, in the mix of the kids. The CPP fighting. I don't feel sorry for them, and Tulay does not like me when I say that. So what I see here is it's like Mr. Boakai. He smelled the rat, and he's like this cat is coming to my doorstep. If I don't take action now, I'm gonna be the next person who get roasted. Is that what you see?
Well, first of all, in politics, we say the love of politics makes strange bad fellows.
Okay.
So I agree with Mr. Padmore here. Mm-hmm. There is nothing more important than the state. If it means that Dr. Boakai has to give something to gain something, that's what politics is all about. And I'm going to give you an example. In 2000, I was involved into this election between Al Gore and George Bush. When it was clear that Al Gore was robbed. But because of the state, the love of nation and country, when the Supreme Court made a decision, he walked to that podium and said, for the love of this country, our civilization, and the future of this country, I accept. Even his own political party said, no, no, no. But he said, I accept. And I advise that we all do for the love of this country. For someone, the statue of Joseph Boakai, who by extension brought this case against Alexander Cummings, because there's no way you can say there is a difference between Joseph Boakai and Ure. When Ure was bringing that lawsuit, he consulted, I am sure he consulted Joseph Boakai, okay? Because these are the folks that have worked in tandem. And he may have given his blessing for the lawsuit to cripple. And they turned around at the boomerang, it backfired. But for someone to say our state, our nation, the supreme law of the land, one person is more powerful, that the Supreme Court should take other things other than the law. Those who are constitutionalists. You have to go by the exact principle of the law. And Dr. Joseph Boakai, former Vice President Joseph Boakai, knows this. What happened when Bronsky was in this case, was in the race, and he didn't feel satisfied? Did the Bassa people and the Bassa belt, which is Grand Bassa, River says, part of Magidi, part of Bon County, part of Montserrat, have we racing and say, if you mistreat our son, there will be no election over this country because Bassa people, we are large all over the place. That is not how civilized people behave. So I believe that Joseph Boakai is doing a disservice to our country. We should rely on the Supreme Court, and what the Supreme Court says is final.
So let us get our final comments on this. And at this time, what can be a possible resolution outside of the court, if possible, that any of you can recommend to these political institutions that got themselves into this mess? And let's start with you, Mr. Eastman. What can be done now outside of the court? What can these parties do right now?
Very good question, Ansony. My recommendation is that they completely dissolve the CPP and dismiss all these cases in court and let them do their participation individually. And we need to take into account that future mergers such as these that have underlying devices to cripple and strangulate our democratic process, we should be very careful how we accept them in the future going forward. So the solution is dissolve it, kick all those cases out of court, and y'all go individually and participate the way you do it. But one more, I will always echo this as well. Tribalism has never helped us. We like it. I like my brother who lives right now down the road. I like my neighbor who is in my county. I like my language. I love my language. But it doesn't promote the country. And if we don't get on a path and think like individuals, like citizens to promote the country, we think in tribalism first, we are not going anywhere, ever.
Wow, that was a strong statement. Mr. Padmore, I know you said let the Unity Party come back, and that is the way forward. How practically can that be done? It's not just talking, it's putting it in action, a doable action that will be in the confines of the law, because you guys are holding these people legalistically. So how can it be done?
Very simple, because the CPP still controls its own documents.
Okay.
The CPP controls its own agreement. That agreement has space for amendments, but any amendment in the CPP document has been done by all four parties. So if all four parties can come, nobody has gone unscathed. Let's be honest here. Okay? Nobody has gone unscathed. United Party, you see the issue they're in right now. ANC and Alexander Cummings has been held down. He can't leave the country. He can't leave Monrovia for even more than a day because he will be called back to court. He spent hours every day sitting in court when he should be out there promoting his message. Everybody know he is coming from the back. And because of that, he needs to be out there. He doesn't need to be in court. Okay? Liberty Party is in disarray. You get Yombly on this side, you get Musa. Nobody has gone unscathed. It is in the best interest of all parties to return to the table and get it. And like Mr. Ismo said, you want to dissolve this? Fine. We're taking all the legal things out. Nobody going to court. We will cancel everything. We'll cancel the CPP. And everybody go their individual way. And moving forward, if you want to form alliance again, you know how you're going about it. But this thing where you will leave somebody on criminal bench, and then you think you're gonna go free and be out there doing other things. No, it won't happen. It will not happen.
Mr. Tulay, the way forward, my brother. What can these men do? And Tulay, may I say this to you? Padmore is right. If anybody is benefiting from the infighting, Judge Weah, the CDC benefiting.
Yeah, how is he benefiting?
Well, you tell me if he's
the
not
people staying total repudiation of Judge Weah.
What is the solution?
Look, I'll tell you something. All the brouhaha and the discombobulation and the confusion within the CPP doesn't help CDC. CDC keeps shooting itself in the leg on a daily basis. You just imagine the negative publicity regarding the ineptitude and the incompetence, the gross incompetence shown at the Rawa International Airport. Not only once, but repeatedly. Okay? Also, again, we are about to face a food crisis next year. Forget about what's happening now. We'll go into a food crisis next year.
So what is the solution? We'll get to the Weah subject.
Yeah, no, I agree. The solution for this problem, I agree with what Jimmy said. We don't want to be part of ANC. We can't come to any kind of reasonable conclusion with these people because they are joined to the hip with Madam Salif.
But come back and adopt the resolution and dissolve the CPP.
The CPP must be dissolved completely.
But it can't be dissolved when you are out. You have to come back in.
No, to us, they don't carry their document and go. We don't want to have anything to do with them. I will tell you the truth. I said it from the beginning. I told you. The lawsuit against Cummings was ill-advised. Wasn't for me. It benefited nobody. The lawsuit, the constitutional precedent lawsuit, the issue of the constitutionality of this document when it relates to electoral issue and not a contractual agreement that has to do with financial or joining together of financial or instrument or joining together people to or incorporating people. They are very different issues. But I'm not saying, if the Supreme Court rules and absolves us of any fault and move and gives us the right to, so Cummings should remain in, let Cummings go. Let him carry a Wahala and go. Let people go run their campaign and let's see. We'll meet in 2023 and we'll see who will go with Judge Weah to the second round. It's simple. The man is a political neophyte. He has no plan. The only thing he wants to say is, I get it for New Liberia. The man has no understanding of how the system works.
Thank you, Mr. Tulay. Folks in Radio Land and in cyberspace, the program you are watching is Focus on Liberia, live on Prime FM 105.5. My man, Prince Mumba, is anchoring there in Monrovia, Liberia, and I'm also anchoring here from the USA. Prince, I know you are a journalist. You and I, we don't have any fish to fry in this oil, but you are a Liberian. Liberians are fighting. It might impact us, especially our democratic process. What do you think can be a solution here, knowing what we know, my friend?
All right. So I have a few things to say. I need 2 or 3 things very quickly.
Go for it, my friend. Go for it.
The first thing, there are some things we need to consider, mainly the court. The first one there is, do we have a by-election in Lofa in the first place? That's one thing we need to establish. Because before we have a by-election, they are very clear in the Constitution. There was an election here in Lofa, December 20, 2021. was that election result nullified by the court? Was there any election case before the Supreme Court?
Wow.
That's number two. Number three, why did the United Party feel a candidate? Why did the United Party take a candidate to the NEC, knowing full well that the case before the court was not an election case against Samukai? The court does not act on the matter that is not before the court. So the document that nullified the election result did not come from the court. It came from the Senate. And the Senate SS said that this document did not come from us, but rather the Senate pro tempore of the Liberian Senate. So I feel that the United Party took some decision very hastily. So, and like my brother from the United Party said, the documents, I don't know who said that, the document with the CPP, they are room for amendment. So if the UP saw that there were certain clauses or some clauses in the document that was not at their consent, I think the best thing that should have been done was to call for an amendment. So to resolve this problem for me, because I think the last time we were here, Dennis and myself, with not Dennis, you and myself who asked Councillor Toole, with the crisis in the CPP, who suffers? And he said Liberians suffer. Because when the CPP was formulated, the idea was that this is an alternative to unseat the Weah government. I mean, giving their reasons, bad governance, corruption, and you name the rest. And so with the kind of crash within the CPP, well, what is happening with the United Party? If the United Party does not feel a candidate in this election and future elections, is ANC and the other parties already crashed. You know what the court ruling said yesterday. Then, I mean, what is the hope of the Liberian that you think you want to represent? So I think there's still a room for the United Party to come back to the CPP and call for an amendment. If you have problem with the 8.52, come to the collaboration, call for an amendment, and move ahead. But if this continues like you and my brother was saying that, Cummings doesn't go anywhere. He doesn't even campaign in peace because he goes to court every day. And this is a very court that is very controlled by the government. The government doesn't want you to unseat her. So what will the government do to give you justice? And it's just something that I think about every day. So the few questions I asked Ansony, I want you to look at them. As per our law, before you have by-elections, there should be the inability of the particular, either the lawmaker or the president, and they are spared all the constitution. And this election that we're here in Lofa, Vanessa won, as far as I am concerned as a Liberian journalist, this result was never nullified by the court. It's very possible that the court charged Vanessa could be in a seat and be paying, or he go to, I don't know why he never did not file a bit of information to the court after the Senate took that decision to nullify the election.
No, but Prince, the Supreme Court took a decision. They said until he paid the money, he can't take the seat, right, Ansony? That is,
but you know, the say had the right to file to challenge it because.
All right, gentlemen, that is a legal aspect. Let us now pretend we are lawyers. Let us continue with the flow. And Mr. Padmore, we have to go to the next topic here. This CPP, the ANC, and a piece of Liberty Party now controlling the CPP. You are not feeding a candidate. The almighty, so-called almighty CPP, CDC is not even feeding a candidate either. Why are you not feeding a candidate? Are you not strong to stand on your own?
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. The reason why the CPP is not feeding a candidate, because we had a candidate. That candidate was Brandon J. Samukai. And we believe that this government disenfranchised him. If nobody else wants to use the word, I'll use it. And we continue to stand by Brownie. We are not going to abandon Brownie for somebody else just because we feel that, that Lofa County, we can win any day. No, we are loyal. We stood behind Brownie. We supported him throughout the campaign. And the Lofa people spoke and said, we want Brownie. As soon as he spoke, then all of a sudden, the thing that the government had hanging over here, they said, we'll use this. We'll manipulate the law. We'll manipulate the situation in our favor to disenfranchise the Lofa people and to stop Brownie from taking his seat.
But
what we expected from the Unity Party, was to lead this effort. The fact that the Unity Party could not even raise the money to pay back so Brownie could have a seat and all the other wahala will be done was very discouraging for us. But we have been loyal, and that is why. And that is the only reason why we have not fielded a candidate.
And Mr. Padmore, I'm with you, right? I mean, can you imagine Unity Party cannot raise a little less than 2 million? They can't do it with all the opportunity they had. And they sat by so idly. And because of money, Brownie could not take his seat. Right? I mean, come to think about it. But gentlemen, we have to go to the next issue there. This discussion is juicy. The legal aspect that Mr. Mumba brought in, we will send that over to our legal guys for them to look into it. Folks, Focus on Liberia on the radio, Prime FM 105.5, live on Focus on Liberia. Ansony is here hosting. Mumba Prince is anchoring there at the station there in Liberia. A short break and we'll be right back, and we'll come back. We are going into the political closet of George Weah-Is. Where is he? Is he hiding somewhere? What is he up to? Does he know what's even going on around him? Is he in charge here? Does he care about the safety of his people, or he's just balling and rolling and he wants to be celebrated? We'll go into that when we come back. Stay tuned, folks.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Jack.
Thank you. We are back with our panel here in continuation of the broadcast and this discussion. We are getting some feedback there. Please take care of that quickly. Thank you there. Gentlemen, the question, where is President George Weah? Is he in charge or is he not? We are asking this question because for too many times now, the airport does not have light. Aircrafts have been aborted landing, putting people's lives at risk. And as we speak, he has taken zero action, signifying that he does not care about the possibility of about 270 people getting killed instantly. He's balling. That's what I see. Let me go to the sedition on this platform. Where is your guy? Is he in charge? You are muted. Are you afraid? Talk to me.
By the way, you can speak.
Thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to tell you what's happening. When you're talking about is the president in charge, there has been no president in the history of this country that has been in charge of this country like King George Weah. Now, let me tell you something real briefly that tells you where the president is and what presidents do. Okay? Let me just look at the international scorecard real quick. The international scorecard tells you where the president is. First, the successful completion of the $257 million Millennium Challenge. 2, gender equality. 3, the land right accessibility. 4, control of corruption. 5, gender balance. 6, the political rights. 7, civil rights and civil liberty in Liberia. 8, no political prisoner in Liberia on the entire continent. Okay?
Entire continent?
In the entire continent of Africa, Liberia is the only country that has no political prisoners. And this is not what I said. This is what the international community, I'm reading it to you in verbatim. Health expenditure, freedom of information, and I can go on and on. And recently,
that list you're reading,
asking you about the airport.
Excuse me.
Yeah, that list you're reading from, where is it coming from?
It's coming from the international. We just told you the last time that there was a meeting.
I don't believe that.
Then you go and
let's talk about the airport.
Okay, let's look at this.
What is your guy doing about the airport? What is the leadership? Nigerians and foreign national lives are raised at the airport. No lies. Talk to me about that.
Mr. C, the airport is one of many things that the president controls. Now let's come to the airport. The airport. When the airport was being constructed, we were given $54 million to construct the airport. And we show you the last time when the Liberian government in 2015 went to India to bring the solar energy that was part of that $54 million, okay, that was negotiated by Ms. Harvey, the one who is still there. That never materialized. The president had different priorities. We agree what happened should not happen. But when it happened the second time, you heard what the president did. The president brought all the stakeholders and said, put together a workable plan that we can bring this to an end. And as we speak, engineers.
Where is the accountability?
Excuse me, sir. You asked me a question. You see, this is why when CDC are talking, we don't take you guys seriously because we
don't see my question.
No, because when we give you the fact, I'm laying the fact. You say, where is the president? I'm telling you where the president is and what the president does.
Let him talk, Ansony.
Okay, listen, Mr. Tulay, when you guys are talking, I do not say anything. I mute because that's what responsible debaters do. You listen and I take notes and I counter. That's what CDCs do. We don't talk when other people are talking. The airport, what happened is disgraceful, and we understand that. That's why the president told the Minister of Presidential Affairs. We took all the stakeholders and said, this is what we want to do. We want to have the result effective immediately. And they put into a plan together to make sure that this result. We didn't even know that the airport when it was built, the airplane cannot even dock because it was faulted. And it has
to take you 5 years for you to get to know that?
But listen to this.
And you say your guy is in charge?
Yes, he is in charge. He's not only in charge of airport, he's in charge of the entire country. Yes, last week you saw him in Grand Bassa County that they were dedicating a bridge. They were groundbreaking for a bridge, $1.2 million bridge. You saw the road to Saclay.
You are looking for about $24 million.
All of these things are happening at the same time.
You are looking for $24 million to solve the immediate crisis at the airport. You don't even have the money. You want to tell me about a bridge in Grand Bassa County? Okay, thank you. All right. So when are you going to find the $24 million to solve what is an immediate problem, putting people's life at risk?
When? And that's a very good question, because a question one of the journalists from Spoon FM asked the public works minister, where are you getting this money from to build this beautiful bridge? And she made it clear. She said this money was allocated in the road funds. So this money has been allocated already in conjunction with USAID, and this bridge is a ballot bridge that been put together by
USAID. You about the $24 million you said you're going to solve the problem at the airport. When are you going to find that money?
The president has prioritized. The engineers are working. We are going to fix the airport once and for all. We agree. Nobody will deny. Nobody will argue that what happened at the airport is bad. It is
earlier you used the word disgraceful.
But if anybody can fix it, it's President George Minor Weah, and he's fixing it as we speak. That's what the president is. I just listed those things that the president doing in addition to all of those things.
Thank you. That is the tough talking Jerome Gayman. Let me come to Mr. Jimmy Ismail. Jimmy, I think I agree with Mr. Gayman here. He said what happened at the airport is disgraceful. And if it is disgraceful, the CDC should be the one that is disgracing this country. 5 years later, you're just telling us you're getting to know about this problem? Do they have the solution? How soon is it coming? Because planes are still flying and getting aborted. Where do we go from here, Jimmy?
Okay, I look at it as a collective problem.
Okay.
The other day when something else happened, didn't the Senate have meeting with the airport authorities? What came out of that? We have institutions that are not functioning. It's not just one person. We see a collapse all over the place. There's some of the managing director and whatnot, a couple of the delegation there, and we see no results. Okay, there is a solution to this, and aviation is dear to me because poor Liberia sent us to study aviation in Israel. When you can't operate an airport like this, a couple of things you can do. You can either sublease it, or shut it down until you can, because putting lives at risk is too much. So we want to see some action being taken, but blame is all over the place. We don't see our institutions are not working the way they're supposed to be working. All right, we have professionals that are out of the country and nobody calling them to help them out. We don't understand what's going on. Okay, but it's a collective problem. There's not one person.
What I saw the other day, may throw it at you. I saw that they took few ambassadors at the airport. U.S. ambassador were among them. Was among them. I'm like, why are they bringing ambassadors in this place here? My takeaway is that they told them, they said, man, we having problem here. Can you give us some money? Because they said they're looking for $24 million. So they told these foreigners to beg them literally for money. Just as Koji is saying, we need money from the foreigners to clean the city. Jimmy, can we not solve our own problem without help from foreigners?
It is obvious the reason why we're there, because we were not able to do it ourselves. It speaks for itself. And this is exactly what I'm saying. Nothing is working. Why don't we have one of the main problem we have is our own experts are not being called. We have experts in aviation, okay, airport management. We have experts in various industries, but give them chance, call them on board, So why are we not getting them? And then we go to U.S. ambassador and this embassies to solve our problems. They can't. It's infantile. We have to do better than this. We have to start being able to solve our own problems. And the first thing to solve your own problems is get your own expert involved. Now calling for some foreigner from somewhere else to do it for you.
I feel so sorry for my country. Government in power telling us the risks in record-breaking revenue. Mr. Gayman just said they got a pass from the Millennium Compact here, and they're telling us about a budget of $785 million. And then they are begging foreigners to help us just to put lights on at the airport. And then when you look on the other side, you see a CPP, Unity Party for that matter. Taking their mantle to United Nations and ambassadors to intervene in their conflict. What is going on with these people? Speak to me, Mr. Padmore. Why are we not getting things done by ourselves?
Well, it's quite simple, all right? It's because the people who are in power lack the ability to do so. It's as simple as that. And it shows every day, all right? Since they opened the Invisible Park, that's where the president goes to play every day. He doesn't go to the mansion. They put $50 million in the mansion. He doesn't even go to work. He goes to the Invisible Park, he block traffic, and people send me pictures every day. The president at the Invisible Park, that's where he spends his day, And the thing is, everything, we were talking about the airport. It's of such sensitive nature should have a contingency plan. You have to have a stopgap measure. If you're going to fix a problem down the road, you need to have a plan in place today and say, until we fix it, this is what we are going to do. They don't even have that. They've not laid that out. They went to they visited the airport, came back and said 24 million. Where did that sum even come from? How did they get to that amount? What are they talking about? When I saw that, all I saw was another ability to steal. The people just say, oh, say you're complaining about the airport will come and steal more money from you. So we'll just put a figure out there and nothing will get solved. And this is where we're at. And it's saddening that while this is happening, the only other hope Liberians had, which was the CPP, is in disarray. And we cannot put this just at the feet of George Weah. The opposition needs to get the act together. Because the people are left with no hope. They are left with no hope. This is what the ruling government is doing to them. When they turn to the other side, the other people playing kakaleka, in court, other court, issuing threats, and I want to do it this way. What do you leave the Liberian people with? And so every single opposition leader, every single one of them, they need to have sleepless nights because the Liberian people are looking at them as an alternative, and they are not behaving as such. You can't just say that the president is behaving like a child and you are not living up to your duties. They need to step up. And that includes Mr. Cummings, that includes Darius Dillon, that includes Ambassador Boakai, that includes Yombly, that includes Mr. Ure. They all need to get together because the Liberian people are looking up to them.
And talking about that, Mr. Padmore, I saw a photograph of I think the United Nations representative in Liberia. They went to Liberty Party's, was it Liberty Party? Yeah, I think went to Liberty Party's headquarters, if I'm not mistaken. And I read in the newspaper that I think similar UN official visited the office of Mr. Boakai. So this was a United Nations, diplomat trying to intervene in political parties' conflict in Liberia. I mean, does it have to come to this that our people are incompetent and incapable of resolving their own issues, while the Liberian people are just left alone and George Weah and his boys are playing them like football? Seriously? Tulay, let me come to you here. I don't want to pour my own frustration here. George Weah is at the sport park now. There where he is. The airport is left alone with no lights. What is the solution?
The solution is we will take whatever they give us until 2023. We can't do anything more than that. And to your point, your earlier point about the inability of the seeming inability, the optics of the CPP or opposition political parties showing inability to resolve their own internal conflicts. It's because you have interlopers, meddlesome interlopers. People, Madam Salif swore that upon her dead body, when Joseph Boakai become president of Liberia. And we all know that Musa Berete works as a stooge of Madam Salif, and who Musa Berete is joined to the hip with Cummings. You think that Joseph Boakai is able to sit with Cummings and Musa Berete as and negotiate anything in good faith? You think there will be good faith negotiators?
If that is the case, then Mr. Boakai is doomed politically. That picture is
no, he's not doomed politically. We don't need them. We don't need them. It's farcical.
Then why are you worried about that?
And say that we can't win election without Cummings. It's laughable. It's comical. It's farcical. It's a fallacy. We can win the election without them because guess what? Joseph Boakai will run on his own merits. He will run on his ability to do something.
We've seen this movie before where Boakai more like stew alone and he let us show that, and that is the danger that is in it. And you guys seems not to care about it, isn't it?
I'm not getting you. The heater kicked on and it's making noise. Can you speak a little bit louder?
Yeah, I'm saying why you are saying it's like you don't need any other. You don't need Madam Salih. You don't need Cummings, and then you can go to when I'm saying This is the very movie that played in 2017 when Boakai was more or less standing alone. We saw how that movie ended. Mr. Boakai had to stand there to give, a concession speech. Is that why you won?
No, it won't happen again, because this time around, we know the shortcomings of that 2017 election. We know. The thing is, Madam Salif, by that time she was identifying and then undermining. So we didn't know where she stood. But now it is so clear, glaring. She's standing afar off. She's behind Musa Belete, and Musa Belete is leading Cummings astray. Is telling him that he can win an election. Is telling him that he owns Liberty Party now, and all kinds of junk. And the reality here is this: everyone is going to run on their own merit. Okay, so let's come to the issue of the president, George Manneh Weah. We all know that Liberians made the greatest mistake of their existence in voting this guy into power. The issue of the airport, Ansony, it's not a very big issue. Okay, you don't need a generator bigger than 150 kVA to run all the lights. So even if you want to do a cost-saving measure, you can have a 100 kVA generator running the building when there is no flight. When flights are coming in, you can put up a 250 kVA generator to make sure that all your lighting systems are gone until you can do an installation of solar panels or whatever. The thing that is happening with George Weah, the reason why George Weah stops at the football pitch in Cinco, is because, Michael, the man doesn't know what to do. He has no ideas. He has no plans. He's not interested in the job. The only thing George Weah is interested in are the trappings of the office, not in the performing his fiduciary duties. That you can see. People are dying every day. There's so much violence in the country. The people are even going again. They went after a man. They say he chopped his girlfriend, and the people mowed the guy to death. The police is incompetent. They are just placeholder. We have a placeholder as a president. He does nothing. He knows nothing. The man is not an academic. He's not widely read. He doesn't know how things work. And what makes it worse for him is that he has surrounded himself with people who are equally ignorant of how things work. So consequently, they have a cabal of very ignorant and incompetent people sitting, making decisions for our country. And Mr. Eastman wants to absolve them of responsibility and say the blame is to go all around. Look, Mr. Eastman, we voted for one president. And if the president has ideas, if the president knows what needs to be done, if he has a vision, nobody will tell him what to do. That man will wake up, he will fire the people for incompetence, and he will find the right people to put there. But the fact is, the man is satisfied with incompetence.
Thank you, Mr. Tulay. Mr. Tulay, thank you. Mr. Gayman and Mr. Prince Mamba, you can take it over after Mr. Gayman.
You see how Mr. Tulay truly left this thing about election. He went on to football and all of that. When, in fact, a few months ago, Mr. Tulay, Mr. Padmore, they would take ownership. They told the Liberian people in the by-elections, you give up the Senate and the House, we will turn on the lights, we will clean house, we will make sure that this country is run. The president will be a spectator. And the Liberian people listened. They brought in Yobli Kanga, Daryl Dillon, the light. They brought on everybody, and there was a big celebration here on social media that the country had revolted against George Weah, and that now the country is on the right path. Under their watch, I have never seen Daryl Dillon come up with a policy statement as to how the country should run. Joseph Boakai made it clear. He says, one party cannot defeat George Weah. We have to combine our efforts. And here now that he has been held to this higher standard, Mr. Tulay is saying Joseph Boakai is going to do it by himself, by staying in Foya and saying the Loma and the Gizi and the Gbani people will make him president. Are you out of your mind or something? Liberia consists of 15 geographical political sections, and we need somebody that can tap into all sections. Tribalism is not going to do it. Sectionalism is not going to do it. We need somebody that cuts across, and President Weah has done that, and he has done this sufficiently. I think the last time Joseph Boakai went to try on his own, he saw what happened. We beat him like he never existed, 14 out of 15 counties. That's how badly we beat him. So Joseph Boakai should not sit here and think that he stands a chance with our coalition. With our coalition, we are going to be walking and smiling and sinking hill to the chief.
Thank you. Mr. Prince Mumba, it's over to you. Any questions you may have for the panelists?
Yes, I have a question. So let me ask Mr. Gayman this question. The issue of our airport, the only functional international airport we have here in Liberia. This is the second time we have experienced flight coming to land, and then there's no electricity. I mean, most time we Liberians blame opposition leaders of paying the cost of us not having investors in country. With the situation of our international airport, that everyone who comes from other countries will have the land before coming to the country. Do you think it's more worse that can stop investors from coming to the country as compared to what many of those who are part of the government have been blaming the opposition for? That's the first one. Do you really think, the second question, do you really think, as supporter of this government, do you really think there are concerns about those grave issues when they are raised? Do you think the body language or the aftermath, what happens when they've been raised, do you really think it speaks to the concern of the Liberian people? Those are my two questions.
Well, one of the things that we seditians that support the president, we are not a Liberty Party, or we are not like the Unity Party.
And Ansony, sorry, so the questions go through across the table.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
We are partisans of the CDC. We support the president. We also, when the president does wrong, we tell him. We said it here. I said it. I said it is embarrassing. It's disgraceful. I didn't mince my words. This is a man who supports the president to the core. And I made some calls, and I made it clear that this is something that if they call you dictator, go ahead, but move the line items. Move some money from somewhere and make sure that this is done. And I'm hearing that by October, this thing is going to be under control. But the fact that it happened not only 2 times, remember it happened before, then the president's own flight coming in, then this one. So it's 3 times that it has happened. So you are very generous by saying 2 times, not 2, it's the 3rd time. And we sedition, those people on that flight were not only opposition. They were sedition, they were Liberians, they were nationalists, they were international folks. So we all have to collectively hold this president's feet to the fire. There is no if and answer but that. The president needs to hear this from all quarters. It has nothing to do with national security. So this one, there is no excuse. There is no shielding the president. This one falls at his desks. This one says, Jerome Gayman say, I know they are listening. This one falls at his feet. And as far as our investment is concerned, Liberia will have very terrible time attracting investors other than our natural resources, because Liberia does not have the market. We just don't have the population. We just don't have the market to sell our stuff. The only thing that comes to Liberia usually will be either factory, manufacturing, and extraction of natural resources. As far as marketing stuff are concerned, 4 million people, 3 million people, it is not worth it of anybody investing billions of dollars when they cannot sell to anybody more than 100,000. Yeah. So that particular piece of it is a very, very shaky piece. But as far as the airport is concerned, that one falls squarely at the feet of the president, and I'm not giving him no slack whatsoever. That falls at the feet of the president.
The pace at which actions are taken when grave issues like those happen. I mean, how do you look at it? That was the second question.
About what?
The pace at which actions are taken, the inability to take action when grave things like that happen.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't call it the inability. Okay.
Well, I think that's the inability.
Well, because when the president is ruling,
he has not taken action.
But listen to this. You said the pace. The president has a potpourri of things on his plate. So those are things that we say we are telling the president this one was not on the agenda. It just happened. We are asking the president, I know people are going to criticize you, take that particular piece and put it on top. Everything else whatever they call you, this one now is an urgent matter. The president
is struggling with that. He's struggling
no, I'm not. That's just the fact. The president needs to expedite this, put it on top, let everybody else complain.
So, Mr. Gayman, let me put it to you this way. Mm-hmm. You work in corporate America. Sure. You are in managerial position.
Sure.
If a manager who manages an institution is bringing the institution business image to question in this manner with the propensity to lose customers and revenue, will that person be on a job?
Well, it depends, because when I spoke to the folks on the ground, that's what I said for fire everybody. But then when you look at
so when you are saying fire everybody, but at the same time you are making excuses from the president.
No, I'm not making any excuses. I'm not making any excuses. I told the president fire everybody, but then when I want to talk to the folks on the ground, when your manager, your forefront officer, if you don't give them anything to work with, they can't do anything. So the president needs to take a comprehensive look at what they're doing over there. If this is a separate, independent entity, then the Liberian people need to know what is it they're supposed to do, how much they are bringing in, and what it costs to run the airport. If it's an independent entity. But as it stands, the president needs to bring this thing under control.
Thank you, Mr. Gayman. Thank you. And gentlemen,
put it the front burner.
Thank you, Mr. Gayman. I want to reinforce Prince's question here, gentlemen, which is significant. What do we stand to lose as a country because of this ceaseless management nightmare at the airport? Let me start with you, Tulay. What are we losing as a country? Don't only look at revenue, look at image, look at standing. What are we losing with this ceaseless nightmare when it comes to management at the airport?
It reeks of incompetence, right? People will mock you. See, so he said he spoke with people on the ground. He refused to say that he spoke with McGill. And McGill is a point of reference. You know me, I like to put the thing out there the way.
And that's why I like you. Call names.
Yeah. McGill is the man's point of reference. Yeah, you shouldn't say people on the ground. He said the president refused to give his managers the wherewithal to act. The guy who is handling the airport authority, that the president man. So the president can't act. I think that when the president in America, the man used to show respect and treated him well. So the president is endangering, not only endangering, he's blighting the country's image on the international stage for personal interest. The reality here is this: we stand to lose everything, and it just reinforces to both Liberians at home, Liberians in the diaspora, the international community, our international partners, that we have a bunch of jokers at the helm. You can play with anything. You can play with airport business. You work at an airport. You know that. You can play with anything. You can play with airport business. The National Transportation and Safety Board will be on your neck in a minute. One mistake. Because you know what you're talking about. You can make a mistake with airplane business Then nothing when I say I won't go again. Put me down. Let me get her. When it reach up, when it's up there, it's up there. And disclaimer: I don't like flying business because of all those reasons. I fly. My wife knows, but I don't like flying business because you can say, "They car. I don't like how the tire going. Put me down. Let me take another car to continue my journey." You inside. So there's no mistake there. The thing is this: look at the thing we're talking about: provision of electricity. Firestone has a dam. Apart from that, they have big generators, and they owe us every time they pay money to government revenue. If you are really stuck and you just need to power the runway when there are no flights, right? Just to give the runway light and to put some basic lights, you can set up a system to keep the lights on when there are no major activities going on, and ask Firestone for maybe a kilowatt, or few. I mean a megawatt, just 1 megawatt. Firestone, please give it to us, so that we can keep our things on. But like you asked the question, what we stand to lose when you don't have credibility with the international community, when you show that kind of level of ineptitude and that kind of level of incompetence, everybody want to stay away from you. Because it shows that systemically there are deeper problems. Because if you can falter, if you can mess up with airport lighting, then think about how rotten your system is. Because no matter what, you're not supposed to mess with airport lighting. So if you're messing with airport lighting, your whole system is broken down. Your whole system lacks credibility. Your ineptitude and incompetence is so gross that nobody should come and deal with you.
Thank you. And I will carry the question around. What are we losing in terms of revenue? What are we losing in terms of visitation? Are we putting tourism? They just had a bicentennial. If anybody is to get to Liberia, I'm supposing it's got to be the international airport. So if the person grabs a newspaper and say, "Hey, planes are aborting landing in Liberia because there's no lights," so, whoa, what kind of people are these, right? So, Mr. Padmore, what are we losing with this ceaseless management nightmare where the president sits mutely?
Well, Liberia is in a situation where sometimes you wonder even if we have more things to lose.
Yeah, at least say we're in a situation we can't handle.
It's like when you've lost everything, sometimes you're like, what else is there to lose? And somehow this government seems to find it. They seem to find it. There's so many other challenges, and the simple fix for this is what boggles the mind. So yes, we lose self-respect. We lose any little tourism that we will be getting. We lose if we have to turn to the international community again, ambassadors that have to write to us and say, "Look, y'all need to do something here." And we know they're not going to come out and put those kind of communications in the public, but we can assume rightfully those communications are happening beyond that. In the background. Yes. And we continue to lose this, and it amplifies our need for change. We cannot continue down this path for another 6 years. Liberia cannot afford to do this. We cannot.
Thank you, folks. Because of time, we have 20 minutes, and we want to use that 20 minutes to get calls, for Liberians to participate. And then after that, we want to have a minute each for you of 30 seconds for us to close. I think we have done justice to the issues that have been raised. So at this time, we will be turning things over to our man, Prince Mumba, there at Control, our Prime FM, to read the phone numbers so that Liberians can call. And Prince, when Liberians call, the question for them, given what we know right now, who are they willing to pick, or who should be the next president? Should it be Boakai, or should we maintain Weah-Is? Should it be Tiawan Congo, or should it be Mr. Cummings? Given all the troubles that we have on our hands, read that number for Liberians and let them call him. Let us hear from them.
Mr. C, don't forget Casse, Dr. Casse.
No, I'm not calling Casse. I'm not calling Casse. Let him deal with a court case in the U.S. Mr. Mumba, go ahead. Read the number, my friend.
Thank you so much. This is from FM 105.5 in partnership with Focus on Liberia from the United States of America. We've been here since 9 o'clock. It is 10:42. If you've been following the show, you want to call in to make your point, call us on 0770-1051. 0770-1051 is the number to call and be a part of the show tonight. Again, the number to call is 0770-1051, 0770-1051. We had a caller on the line, the very first caller. Let me see what I can. You had a word from the. Please walk away from the radio, my brother. Lower the radio. Lower your radio. Hello.
And Prince, let's be clear. Given what going on in our country,
if you're not lower the radio, I'll take different call.
Be the next president. That's what I want to hear from them.
Hello. Ansony, can you get a caller?
No. No, we can't hear the caller. And folks in the US.
All right, so just run along. Let me try to set it up.
And folks in the US, most of you know the number to call. The number is in the screen below. Please call that number.
Ansony, can you get that now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello, your name. Where are you calling us from?
That person.
Why you've been following the talk show tonight on Prime FM? So, just one question: who do you think can be the next Liberian president?
That person is low. We can't get anything.
The audio.
Is it?
Oh, it got better, but then
is it okay?
No.
Fine, it's better. It's better. No, Prince, it's going in and out. So hold on to that.
You say you getting him?
No,
you're not getting him. We need to do something about that number there. So pull on to hit. Folks in the US, if you want to participate, the number to call is 605-313-6004, and also the code 7914.
Yes, go ahead.
The conversation. Brains, the telephone line is bad. It's bad. Let her use the time wisely. That telephone number is bad. I really want to hear from the folks in Liberia.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, hello. So, Ansony, I said with you, is it okay?
No.
Yeah, it was a little better there. Let's continue with that. And folks in the US, you can call to 605-313-6004.
Hold on. Go ahead, your name.
Hello.
Yeah, what is your name? Where are you calling us from?
This is I'm calling you from West Point.
Go ahead.
Yeah, from my understanding, we must maintain George Weah because for the work he is doing for Electoral now, if other president would start doing such work, then Electoral has gone forward.
Thank you.
So I will urge all Liberians, let maintain Weah for the 12 years.
Well, thank you very much. Good evening. Hello?
Yeah, hello?
Your name, where you call from?
Yeah, I'm Lofa calling from President.
Go ahead, make your point.
Yeah, but all of the things we are discussing here is the runners and the president. They are still to add as president.
Mm-hmm.
Why would we didn't so much know but they are not making it people? What?
So what does that mean? Mean that we shouldn't maintain it? What are you saying?
No, we won't.
All right.
Yeah, Prince,
Thank
you know, let them tell us who they prefer. You know,
Who do you prefer? Who do you prefer?
Who I would prefer?
Mm-hmm.
I'm still checking in the president because this the people that we think know that want to change this particular regime with this who they are not appearing to us as serious-minded people.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Another caller is on the line. Good evening.
Hello.
Hello, sir. What is your name? Where are you calling us from?
We are calling from Electoral.
All right. So, who do you think Liberians should vote for?
I think that we are for 100%. We are doing a senior work in Liberia. You know, support him in the president. If you offer scholarship, it will be to go that. And that was all people in our rest. Free education. So, John Rand is the best person for us to complete.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So keep your calls coming to 0770-1051, 0770-1051. The guys from the US are following you. Hello?
Hello?
Hello, sir. What is your name? Yanti, please be audible. Who do you think we should vote for and for why?
If you can give me a while, I believe they can still be reconciliation within the CPP.
All right.
And after they are reconciled, I believe Ambassador Boakai can go as president and Cummings go as VP. With this, we will have a good governance.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We'll take more calls here. We close by 10 o'clock. Sorry, 11 o'clock. So call on 0770-1051. Ansony is much better, right?
Yeah, it's a little better. Continue with that.
All
Let
right.
them be quick. You know, who should we go with?
0770-1051, 0770-1051. We don't have much time. Just be audible and make your point. Good evening.
Good evening, my brother.
I'm good. Your name? Go ahead.
Amen. Nobody without the
Weah.
The rich soon.
Thank you very much. Good evening. Hello?
Hello, how you doing?
I'm good. What is your name?
Okay, I'm Steve Howard, Senior calling from Looking Down. Mr. Tulay.
Who do you support? Who do you think Liberia should vote for?
It's somehow that way because Ambassador Weah is doing well.
All right.
Because Ambassador Weah is doing what people did not do. So, I mean, we prefer Ambassador Weah to go for this year.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Good evening.
Good afternoon, good evening, brother.
I'm good. Your name?
This is Emmanuel and I'm calling from Casse.
Go ahead, Emmanuel. Is that Emmanuel? Go ahead, Emmanuel.
For me, I think it would be better with Martin just running we are as president for this country.
Thank you.
Because the CPP was depending on they are not serious people, they are not serious to other people.
So you were depending on the CPP, right?
Yeah, I was depending on the CPP because I believe that collaboration will get this particular regime out. But for now, my brother, for the kind of conflict we feel and more than it became settled in up to this time, every day that different thing, every day another thing.
Emmanuel, do you think there are still room for reconciliation within the city? You think so?
Yeah, but we are looking at the kind of cost boxes that they're going and more than the kind of voice money that they're using.
Oh, sir. Email gone. Maybe a minute finish. Good evening, my brother. Yeah. Go ahead.
I want to appreciate you for how to know that. For me to give my analysis, I think the government there were other people that they know that they don't put the water people with it. With all the other people that much get it, but they are not supposed to hold it because the way people would get and this world owns the people who would get it. All the other fast president was making it that people from power, so I think that
thank you, George Weah. George Weah should be maintained. Thanks a lot. Another caller is I'm missing. So call on 0770-1051 will be starting by 5 minutes to 10.
Hello?
Hello? Your name, where you come from?
Mr. Wilson.
Mr. Wilson? Where Mr. Wilson?
I think we are safe from your continuing because you really want consent issue for the town. You only want to be better for the Liberia people right now. Nobody else is dying.
Thank you, Joshua. Good evening. Your name, where you coming from? Is that Wisdom? Why Wisdom? For you, we'll take one more call. We'll get Ansony. 1 or 2 calls.
Okay. But when it comes to get I don't feel like
Oh, you.
Yeah, because they have so the only thing that people can do now to pay their folks in President George here so that
Thank you, thank you so much. We'll take the last call and get Ansony back in studio there from the USA, the very last caller. Good evening. Hello? Hello? Your name, where you call from? Go ahead.
Nothing about, but for me, I prefer just Weah for the next 6 years because the people will depending on the last year. And I believe that if they come together now, they start to say, Senator, that don't put that for them because no one has trust in them again.
Thank you so much for that ends the call in segment on the program. Ansony, I'm sure we will able to get something from the callers, right?
Exactly, and exactly, gentlemen, and this is a warning. This is a warning to the CPP. Now, I got distracted at some point, but I counted 7 of the callers who said they would prefer George Weah, and 50% of their reason is because the CPP that they were depending on is fighting and they don't trust them anymore. This is a profound message. The CPP folks, if they are listening now, this is the message that should give them reason to swallow their pride, their egos, and pour this complete nonsense aside. Weah is in charge
Ansony.
here. Yeah.
Ansony, allow me to come in. I like the question you asked. I'll be very quick. I'll be very quick. So I like the question you asked. What do we stand to lose with all this going on? I noticed one thing about Liberians. We all do the one common mistake. When something goes wrong and something bad happens, we always look for someone else to blame. We never, ever self-examine. What did I do wrong? What could I have done better? Right now, we heard on this program accusations against the ANC, accusations against the UP, the CDC, but not one claim was a self-examination of the mistakes they made. And we repeat these mistakes because we never self-examine. We cannot improve until we self-examine. Let me bring it down home. The day you fail in school, the day you fail your test, what did you ask yourself? Oh, why did I fail? And you went to see the questions you missed, and you went to study the lesson so next time you could pass. We don't do that. When we fail, we go on to the next thing. We fail, we go on to the next thing. I don't blame the people for wanting to stay with George Weah because they have already seen a failure in the CPP. But the CPP has yet to ask themselves, why did we fail? That means they will just keep on making the same mistakes. You have to ask yourself these questions. So today, a problem. Why are we failing? And I'm telling you, we do not have expertise in the agencies, in the places they belong. You cannot manage a complex country, complex industry, complex organizations without the professionals there. It can't be by friends. You got to have professionals who know how to who learn, who experience the job for years and years and years. That's how you run it. If you're going to put somebody there who doesn't have that experience, you risk
Thank you, Jimmy.
everything.
Thank Jimmy. I didn't want to stop you, but I have to do because of time. Well said, and I think you couldn't have said it better. This CPP must self-reflect. They blew it, and they must know that they blew it. In Liberia, they say small shame is better than big shame. This is a shame that they need to own, self-reflect, self-correct, and go forward. Or as the CDC 12 years is loading. And Mr. Gayman is just laughing. Let me see your propo cup again. Show it to me. See? CPP? That man will keep drinking from that cup if you don't get your act together. Well, folks, I think we had a great show. Let's go around the room. We have just 2 minutes left. Let's get your closing, a parting statement, 30 seconds each. And we will start with the sedition. Who is the man who's smiling tonight?
No, it's not. It's not about smiling. It's about our country. And I want to thank Prince and the folks on the ground, Mr. Tie. This is a great job that you're doing. And for our audience out there, the audio may have been a little difficult, but as we work through this, it's going to get better and better. So we want to thank you for being with us and keep supporting our program.
Thank you. Mr. Tulay?
Yeah, one thing I know, I used to be on the radio for a very long time. 6 years, almost.
Right.
I can tell you. What you just saw is very simple to orchestrate, and ruling party, United Party did it. So CDC is doing the same thing. It doesn't reflect the will of the voters out there in Liberia. That's what I want to say. And as Michael keeps saying, Michael, let me tell you something. Nobody has any problem sitting with Cummings at the negotiation table. But as long as Cummings is joined to the hip with Bilete and Bilete with Madame Salif, we will not talk to him. It's as simple as that, because we know that he's getting advice from external sources. So we don't want to talk to him. Because if Mr. Cummings was an honest or party, and
Thank
only
you.
him, without the interference of Madame Salif and Bilete, yes, I would be the first person to call the ambassador and say, hey, you have to sit with Mr. Cummings and talk. But as long as Cummings is joined with Bilete and Madame Salif, no.
Thank you.
Because we know it will not help us.
Thank you, Mr. Tulay. I appreciate you coming. We had a great discussion here, but it seems to be you didn't hear anything from Jimmy. Mr. Padmore?
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And thank you, Prince, for reaching out from back home. It's a welcome to be able to link up with the people back there and not just online. But just in short closing, the Liberian people, through the elections in 2022, sent a message to us that they're looking up to the CPP, they're looking up to the opposition, and we need to find a way. If nothing else, because of the people, we need to find a way to move forward, move Liberia forward, and to find a way to replace this government. And we look forward to that. Thank you so much.
Jimmy? 30 seconds.
Yeah, we could stalk here until our face turn blue. Only our actions will make a change. Liberians have to change the way to do things before they do it. I think right now all President Weah needs to do is surround himself with Liberian experts, people who have done the job and know the job. His problems will go away, and that's my piece.
Thank you, folks in Radio Land and in cyberspace. We want to say thank you so very much for following the broadcast. We could not get to the comments. We want to hear from our folks in Liberia who are feeling the pinch of what is going on in our country. The colors we heard from, I think they couldn't be clearer. I hope Liberians are listening. This is how we will come to the end of yet another edition of the program, Focus on Liberia on Prime FN 105.5. Prince, what is your closing so that we can close this?
Thank you, Prince.
Yes, so I just want, like you said, the CPP should know that the Liberians took them to be an authority. and I believe it's still there. Many people are feeling bad, and also to my colleague, the public opinion can be persuaded by what is being said on the radio. So if this continues, the kind of survey of views something on the radio continues, of course, you might see they going. I mean, you might see result. Any result going the CDC way. So it is hope that you guys will come together on the drawing table and once more reawaken the hope of the Liberian people, since they feel that the CDC government. Some of them feel the CDC government. I feel them. Thank you. We hope to be here on Monday.
Thank you. And that will do it. And the song that says we are all Liberians is closing us right now. Whether you are a sedition from Liberty Party, Unity Party, if you are no position like my man Jimmy and a media guy like me, Liberians who don't subscribe to any political party but want the best for Liberia, the song is right that we are all Liberians, and that song is taking us home. Until we catch you again, my name is Ansony here, Munas here, Bloss here, Nambwes here. I'm your guy. I'll catch you next Saturday. Bye-bye, folks.
We are Liberians. Liberia is our home.